Subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to get all the latest updates. Hello and welcome. My name is Barkha Dutt. You're with The Mojo Story, our independent digital platform that has been traveling across the country for the last 15 months, reporting on COVID, not from inside a studio or behind a table, but from the ground, bringing you the voices of pain, of despair, of heartbreak, of voices seeking justice. In these bleak times where literally everybody has experienced the loss of somebody they loved, everybody knows someone who lost someone to COVID. One of our most beloved, respected, cherished artists, in fact, I should say two of our best known artists, A.R. Rahman and Gulzar Saab, have come together to create what they call an anthem of hope and healing. In these bleak times, we need that hope and healing. We need something to feel better about. And A.R. Rahman will be our very special guest today. You can see A.R. Rahman there, and it's really wonderful actually to talk about something that can hopefully make us all feel better. Rahman, welcome to our program, to this broadcast. We're literally here on the road in Rajasthan right now. Let me start by asking you, how it came to you at this time to come up with what you call an anthem of hope and healing. Obviously, something that the country needs. But Meri Pukaar Suno has a mother metaphor, and we all know what a deep influence your mother was on you. But I think here you're looking at the country as a mother figure.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. I know we all went through so much of loss. You personally, I saw that. I'm really sorry for your loss too. And you become numb at these extraordinary moments of life. And as a composer, you get inspired, and also you get affected by everything which is happening. Yet you have to desensitize to do your work, because sometimes you have to do something which is very joyful as for other people and things. So Sony came to me and said, can we do a song for Sony Music for the people of India? So I spoke to Gulzar Saab and said, can we do a song where Mother India sings to us? Because we're always singing to Mother India. What if Mother India sings to us through the voices of, our great singers? And so that he said, very interesting, let me come up with 3 ideas. So he gave me 3 choices, and I felt like this was bang on. And it was very simple with, that Gulzar Saab has so much of experience, wisdom, and a very, very kind heart inside. And that, I think that comes out in his lyrics. And so that's the story.
And, thank you for recognizing, in some sense, one's pain and the numbing effect it can have on one. And that's what I really wanted to understand. How do you make music from pain? I know a lot of great art has been born from sorrow. But I just want to understand what that does to a creator, because you have to tap into your creativity. For me, for example, when I lost my father, the only way I knew how to cope with it was by working. And I knew in some ways I was running away, but it was the only thing I knew how to do. And a lot of people didn't understand that. They said, how can you work when you're so heartbroken? So I want to understand that creative process where art is born from sorrow.
And running away, I've done that all my life. So my only solace is my studio, and my only solace is, when you composing songs and you're doing things which actually expresses the silence in you, and the deep voice and the deep feeling which we have, empathy and all this stuff. And in this case, I would say, when you go to music, you have to strip all your emotions off. You have to, come to a zone where you become hollow, you become like the Zaria, you become the vacuum where it gets filled up with the good source of, from the infinite. And that is one thing, when you can practice a whole life and you still might not perfect it, but that's what I've been trying to do all my life. So number it and see what comes in, and not expect anything when you sit. Like, you just have an intention that something nice should happen, and it happens or it doesn't happen. So
yeah, I understand. I know it has to be organic. But, before we come to Meri Pukaar Suno, I want you to talk a little bit about what this period has been like for you. To be in lockdown. Some of us have not been in lockdown, but it's still been a transformative, life-changing 15 months. How do you think this period has changed you as a person and as a creator of art?
Well, for me, it's not much different because I always been working in my house, like in the backyard of my house, all my life. This past 28 years, this home studio, and I miss traveling, going abroad, taking a flight, and getting out and just refreshing and coming back. And I miss that. But and when you see all the loss, and I think we're just grateful to God that we were lucky in many things, and we also tried to help as much as possible through our foundation, and not only through monetary stuff, but also speaking to people, talking to people, all kinds of people, and sometimes connecting doctors or medicines or vaccines. And my daughter and my sister are running the foundation, so they've been amazing at this.
Did you experience a personal loss in this time period? Because, like I was saying in my introduction, there's nobody we know who has not lost someone they know or someone beloved to either them or to someone that they love.
My personal loss, of course, you all know that my mom passed away, not through COVID, but she'd been suffering for 8 years. And we all
Yeah.
was in a hospital. There were like 7 nurses and doctors and, a dialysis specialist and hanging out in the house. And in a way, when she passed away, I felt like maybe it's redemption for her, maybe it's a relief for her from the pain. And but it's never it's not, that void is going to be forever in my life, especially for my children. I think they suddenly start crying, and my sister still they can't cope up with the loss, because she's been like, even after she passed away, I didn't want to trouble people. So some people are upset that we went and took her to the burial place very soon, because I felt like she has so many well-wishers, and I didn't want 10,000 people to line up and come for a funeral, and not being a cause for the uh, you know COVID and stuff. So I took a decision and said that we're going to bury her in our place, in the farm, and this is going to be quiet and intimate, because she's again a woman, and woman of such a great inspiration to me and as well as so many people. And so that was a decision I took. But a good thing is we are opening a memorial for her, because she's just not my mother. She's a mother for so many people, and she's helped so many people, and she's also a spiritual healer in her family. So those who missed coming for the death could come and visit the memorial once in a lifetime. It'll be a beautiful one.
That's lovely, and I wanted to ask you, because at least they say grief gets better with time. In some ways, grief actually gets worse, doesn't it?
True, but then I think that's a negative energy. I think we are all taught to not grieve more than 3 days, and we have to move on with our lives, because we all have different roles. If one is to just sit and grieve about something, then you're forgetting your own role. And as a father, as a husband, as a brother, as a teacher, as a musician, as a composer, as a citizen, we have to move on. But we should never forget the goodness of great people, and that memory is going to stay with me.
Absolutely, and in those memories, I hope you find peace. We all look for peace and happiness in our memories. Talk a little bit about Meri Pukaar Suno. 7 musicians make it possible. Gulzar Saab's writing, your magic, the thought behind it, the metaphor of the country as mother, the need for hope and healing, the need to bring this country together, a country in sorrow, a country that I sometimes refer to as a country of broken hearts, of a billion broken hearts right now. The healing power of music and what drove this piece of art. Talk a little bit about that.
I personally feel that the role of musicians, lyric writers, poets, and musicians, artists, dancers, comedians, is the most important now. because so many different narratives come on the net, on Instagram, on WhatsApp, on Facebook, and TV, on YouTube, confusing everybody. But what is the right way? What is the truth? Which side should be taken? And I personally feel like one's family is very important, because if a family is healthy and they have positive thoughts and they serve the nation, they serve themselves I think that makes a great country, a happy family. Um, and so it's important to keep, I feel the mind is a shrine of God, and you keep that as pure as possible. I think everything is going to be great for you. You'll not fall ill, and you will be reflecting that radiance outside. You'll be healing things with just words and just a smile, rather than throwing darkness all over, hatred all over. And which is nice for as a when you watch a movie, you like people hitting people, and yeah, that guy won, this guy won. But in real life, it needs to be therapeutic, because we all have now more challenges in the mind than in the body, and that mind has to be a shrine of God. I feel like that shrine should not be broken. You can break any shrines, but that should not be broken. And so that means that your parents are very important. What you respect, what you speak to elders is very important. What you speak to, people who are poor and underprivileged is very important. How you take care of them, and this doesn't require money. It's just attitude and not belittling people. And so I think there's more responsibility now, and it's very simple to do this. And this is not just for the other people; it's for your own good, because you're standing in front of a mirror, and you smile, you see your own smile, and that is infectious. And the heart, I feel, is same. These are the things which I think I learned in the past too. Even though we know all that stuff, I think I've learned that even more by sitting in silence and watching people in adversity and cruelty and all this stuff.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, what does your mind, when does your mind trouble you? You've spoken about mind over matter, you've spoken about the power of stillness and silence and finding that strength within. When does the great A.R. Rahman feel less than peaceful?
I am always peaceful, because you know what? I think the ultimate truth is, everybody knows this, and every human being, whether they believe in God or not, ultimate truth is we all going to die. And this is a transit. This life is a transit for us, and this how much experience and happiness you're going to give with this transit is very important. It's a transit station, I feel. And even the suffering is a part of the game, the happiness is part of the game, and the way you live your life is part of the game. And that's what I tell my kids also. Like, this is a transit, and so we know that we should not take many things seriously. We should work, but there is happiness is very internal. Happiness is very important, and yeah.
What makes you unhappy? I know what makes you happy. What makes you unhappy?
Nothing. I think it's a mental statement. You only allow happiness or unhappiness to be reflective of yourself. And if something fails, that means you have to work hard and you're going to get better. And something successful, you have to be careful that you don't fall the next time. So
Yeah, yeah. You have collaborated with Gulzar Saab in the past. This is not your first collaboration. Gulzar Saab is like one of those eternally youthful sort of creatures. He's a lovely, lovely man. What makes working with him so different from working with someone else?
I personally feel I'm so blessed to work with all the greats, Javed Akhtar, Majroor Sultanpuri, Anand Bakshi Saab, Mehboob. And of course, Gulzar Saab, I started in 90. Because of his experience and wisdom, and he's also a filmmaker, he's a poet, and so he has his aura in him where it reflects on everything. He simplifies his things and hides great thoughts and on simple words, so that it reaches a large amount of people. And so it's always very therapeutic, I would say, when I speak to him. The words, when he takes time to speak, and he's always so positive, never cynical, never unhappy. Always a sense of wisdom and aura. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Talking about films, you, inspired by Mani Ratnam, if I'm not wrong, turned producer and co-writer with 99 songs. Is that a one-off? Are we going to see Rahman now doing this regularly, being a filmmaker as well? What was that experience like for you? And did you find it tougher than making music?
I think it was 50-50. I find it very cathartic in a way that I'm able to conceive something and it becomes a reality and people see it as any messages. And also, introducing a new talent called Ihan Bhatt and Vishwesh Krishnamurti and the cameraman, and all of them are completely a new band of people. And this is not a one-off because it took me 10 years to make this from an idea to a story for it to come in 3 languages and finally on Netflix and JioCinema. And so I've learned so much in the process, like filmmaking and marketing and production and where we could go, Indian cinema could go. I mean, it's like a student, a new student in a university where it's not just you're shelling out money, but you're learning from creating it. And that's super cool. And so after this story came to me in 2010, there's so many other stories which I keep toying and those characters keep coming and you start developing things. And I'm taking it slowly. I love music and I don't want anything to distract from music. But this is also therapeutic to go to do something else. And so that there's nobody telling you what to do. You can create whatever you want. And the thoughts which is in you become stories. And
So you might make more movies.
yeah, of course.
Great. Talking about new talent, you also have a sort of label, Maja, where we saw this completely viral hit, Enjaami. Even though I'm a North Indian and I don't understand Tamil, that video was really, really catchy. And it was about so many things: land, the landless, environment, the organic relationship between human beings and the soil that they come from, identity. Were you surprised at how that song took the world by storm, even like Punjabis like me who don't understand a word of Tamil?
I had to give the credit to the makers, Arivu and T and Santosh Narayan. Maja was created for, giving them a vision, giving them empowering indie musicians, and also go deeper into the rural roots of a culture and showing it in a way where we're not ashamed of it. And so all these things were actually calculatedly, placed at the foundation of the vision. And so everything which is going to come out of Maja is going to be more deeper, not trying to be somebody else, but trying to probably enhance what we already have and showing it to the world in a very glorified, beautiful way where we're proud of it. The color of the skin or the beats or the lyrics So I think we've come to a time where things have to get even in a way. People have to get treated with respect, not about difference in which man-made creation of caste and religion, all this stuff. Beyond that, there's humanity. And in this, what we try to do is there's also color difference still in our country. Dark color and white color, and people still we see that happening. And this is to probably go beyond it. And initially, it was supposed to be a Tamil kind of a platform where we go deep into the 6,000-year root of poetry and culture and wisdom and bringing all that stuff. But we're embracing more, and we want to make it this bigger because there are no lines drawn here. The lines are all blurred, and it's about.
I want to pick up on that comment you made in a very throwaway way about the color, the kind of de facto racism. Before you became famous, this Oscar-winning superstar, did you ever experience racism based on the color of your skin?
No, I think by the grace of God, I maybe it was there behind me, but never in front of me, because when people see a talent, when I see a composer or an artist, they don't. I think maybe I was lucky that all this was veiled for me, and I had the power to change things. I'm still doing things which I love. Nobody telling me what to do, and so far so good.
You spoke about transcending caste, religion. What is, they say that cricket and cinema and music, those are the spaces where these narrow identities do not matter, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and yet we live in, it would seem, very argumentative times, very polarized times. Speak about transcending these divisions of religion, of region, of caste, of identity. How has that journey been for you, and what is the power of art to bring people together at a time when the world, even sometimes our country, seems so divided?
I personally think that all of us are empowered with great ideas and energy, and we can manifest things if we want. And when we give in any community, when we give to the society, nobody's going to question you. Suppose somebody has a hospital, somebody has a school, somebody has they're serving food to the poor. Nobody's going to question them. I think this is what I think people should do, and we find a greater reason for existence. All these divisions will go, and it should not be like I will only serve my community, I'll only serve this caste, I'll only serve. And beyond that, if you all think, I think it will be eradicated, and leaders should think the same way. Selfless and serving everyone, because human, as I told you before, I think we all have the shrine of God inside, and it is just a feeling which is beyond the unseen, and that needs to be kept very clear. Clean. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, what does being Indian mean to you? And I asked you this today because of this anthem of hope and healing, because of the mother, the country as mother metaphor. There's great talk about a global community today and about being global citizens, but they say you can never take the Indian out of a desi no matter where we go. What does being Indian mean to you?
I think one of the reasons why I keep coming back to this country, even though doors have opened for me in the UK and the US and Hollywood and London West End and Broadway, I keep coming back because I feel this is my home, this is my house, these are my people, these are my friends, this is my family. And you see people who are living outside, who are achieving great things, which is fantastic. But people are also attacking, when you see a lot of racial attacks and shootouts and all the stuff happens. So it's important that we bring in that knowledge, we go learn the knowledge, bring it back to our country, and develop our own people, And that's what we've been trying to do with our school, K Music Conservatory, where we teach, and whatever little I learned abroad, I bring here, and also bring friends from abroad to teach here, and vice versa. These kids go there and achieve great things and come. So it's just more things will hopefully happen in the future. That's it.
Finally, towards the end, we've seen you're a global brand, and as you said, doors have opened for you everywhere, but home is home. But in terms of collaborations, when do you think you'll be able to reintegrate, in a sense, with the world stage again? It's been such a surreal time with the lockdowns. Live concerts haven't happened for so long, though other countries are slowly beginning to open up. So do we look forward to more collaborations, whether with an Andrew Lloyd Webber, whether with the other music greats that you've jammed with?
Yes, I think for that I need to move. I need to be in the places, like I need to be in Hollywood for 3-4 months, or in the UK. Things happen over coffee. Things happen over, it's so easy to do. But I'm loving what I'm doing. It doesn't. I don't need any accreditation to say, oh, he's worked again, so it's big. Or no. I think as an artist, I can create anything anywhere, and that doesn't change it within me. I can write a symphony sitting here in my house, or I can do a folk song sitting in LA, recording for a South Indian hero. So that part of my mind is opened up, and not like before where. So I'm also working with the Expo, Dubai Expo, We're creating this beautiful orchestra with just Middle Eastern women and a multicultural orchestra. It's called the Firdaus Orchestra, Women's Orchestra. Then there's one more exciting thing we do in the expo, which we'll reveal later.
Reveal a bit of it now. Give us a hint.
Well, it's got something to do with Mr. Kapoor, Shekhar Kapoor, and sorry.
Okay, so that should be exciting. Okay, I have two last questions for you. One is, how has this 15 months of lockdown and COVID changed you, if it has changed you? Do you find yourself different today than you were in the January of 2020?
There are many things we want to do. I opened up a performing place for musicians to jam and exchange ideas, and we set up everything. And unfortunately, the lockdown never finished. It's gone. So we were a little frustrated that we set up that place for which the experience I learned from working with Super Heavy, with Mick Jagger, that band. Which I'm an introvert. I work with my headphones on, and nobody hears what I do till I play it out. But working with the band like that, it changed my life. Like how the exchanges were, and playing together, creating something, and truncating that and putting into stuff. So that experience, I set up this place, but unfortunately, because of the lockdown, we couldn't go. That's my only
And finally, I have to ask you this: what's the music you've been listening to over the last 15 months? What is your lockdown playlist?
I think mostly classical music, mostly Western classical or Hindustani, or discovering many other ragas which I've not heard performances of, like going back to the 50s, listening to those kind of recordings. It's been pretty fascinating to go back and discover great artists, interviews of them.
What does A.R. Rahman still want to do that he hasn't been able to do? I know I got that place that hasn't opened where everybody can come and jam together. I've got the making more movies. I've got the school, the foundation, all of that. But what's the personal dream that you still have unfulfilled?
These are all dream. I'm living in the dream.
No, but really,
I mean, what more do you want? What more do you want? I just written a story.
There's always a new dream. There's always a new dream. Every day is a new dream. What's your new dream?
This is a never-ending dream. I'm in the dream.
Lovely. Well, you have encouraged and made it possible for so many of us to dream. In the worst possible times, some of us have heard your music and felt better. And I think with Meri Pukaar Suno also that is going to happen. So we thank you, Rahman, for your music. Really, as a country, we thank you for your music, for your optimism, for your energy, and for living the dream. It's been a delight talking to you. Thank you, and look after yourself, and keep making music and keep making magic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barkha.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.